Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a real-time trade I took on US30 where I made over 3,000 US dollars. I'll walk you through the exact setup, my entry and exit point. This is the best way to approach ICT concepts to become a profitable trader in the long run. Make sure to stay till the end. I will share some key levels to look forward to for NFP. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, you'll pick up something useful here. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button.
Okay, so let's get started. This is where the week opened for June. This is June 2025, 1st of June. For yes, 1st of June, the price opened. So this was on Sunday. Friday's closing. So market opened with a gap, right? So as market opened with a gap, I let price play out, and Monday's official opening is at 12 o'clock US time. So this was where price started getting my interest in this market, and this is where I was looking to approach it, right? So we can see what happened. So at at London session tapped into our opening gap, right? Tapped into our opening gap and it swept this low, right? So as it swept this low, right, it had displacement away. You can see at this level as well, we had equal highs at this level. So buy side liquidity was sitting at this level, right? Right. So my point of interest was at this level over here. So price could have taken the major south side liquidity, but this failure of it taking this level is just telling me that it's going to come back in the near future. So we're monitoring these levels to see if it's going to come back. So on Monday, I was not looking to rush a trade, right? I was just sitting back and watching how price moves, right? So we can see London session tapped into our opening gap, and from the opening gap we had a sell-off that swept liquidity at this level. So it took sell stop orders out, sell side liquidity was taken, and then you can see price now started to move off this level, right? So at this level, right? So at this level in price, you can see price showed displacement of that it wants to move higher, right? So we had this impulsive move over here, moving to the upside, coming to our opening gap, also approaching our buy side liquidity at this level. So this level in price here was displacement away after taking liquidity, right? So that's one key point that we need when we approach the market. And then the first fair value gap that presents itself is going to be a high probability fair value gap, right? So you can see after price had this displacement, it came to the opening gap. It's creating more liquidity at these levels. You can see equal highs at this point. Price moved down, and as it moved down, it tested our fair value gap and it liquidated this low. So this was a liquidity sweep as well, right? That level over there was a liquidity sweep, right? As we had this liquidity sweep, you can see price now again showed us displacement of this level, right? Showed us displacement of this level, and in this level we can see these three candles over here, 1, 2, and 3. So this fair value gap after this displacement was a high probability trade to take, right? Because price is showing us displacement, swept liquidity. It now wants to go take buy side liquidity, right? So at this level over here was where we could have looked for this trade to then want to go like this and possibly targeting the opening gap high, this is the opening gap low, or first TP, and then the opening gap high, right? So that's how we've approached it. We want to see price sweeping liquidity. We want to see price having a displacement of price, right? And in here you can see these prices are, it's just one big down move, so that was insufficient price into the buyers and the sellers. So price was looking to rebalance that. As it rebalanced itself, it left our fair value, tested him, pushed off, and this was where the real trade happened from, because here it would have been a bit risky, so you would have taken a risk entry at this point, and then over here, when price showed a displacement for the second time, this would have been a more safer trade to take, so we would have taken the position, at the, you can take it at the open of at the highs of the insufficiency, the fair value gap, or the midpoint of the fair value gap, right? And we were targeting this low of the opening gap, which was 0.8%, right? So we want to be safe within, we want to target there. Remember, we are running this buy side out, so that was our first major target, and then we look to want to potentially go and take out this. So it was almost a 2% at first TP, right? And if we zoom out a bit, right, so we had major buy side liquidity now of Friday's level. Friday's high, this was major buy side liquidity. This was all minor buy side liquidity. So we could have looked to go and target this level in price, right, which is a 4%, a 4.15% trade, right? So at that level now we can see how price comes close to that level, but it does not take this high yet. So there's still buy stop orders, buy side orders sitting at this level, right? So what price has done is it failed to take high, right? And it more created more liquidity to go and sweep, right? So that's what price did at this level, because it has not taken out our buy stop orders, which I definitely want to see price take out this level. You see, because it just swept sell stop orders, so we're going for buy stop, right? You can also see in that level we had this supply zone at here at this point, right? You can see price used that supply zone and had it drop back into our opening gap, right? So at this point we could have lost some profits, right? We could have lost some profits there at the low of the supply zone and left the future still around, right? But my major point that I want to take is over here. So I would still be looking to go and ride this level out in price, because that's my major buy side liquidity. Right, so as price moved on, you can see Monday's closure was back, so it traded into the bearish order block, and then price moved back into our opening gap, right? Price moved back into the opening gap and it closed for Monday, right? So now on Tuesday, on Tuesday's level, price opened within this. So price opened within the opening gap, and at the opening gap, you can see how it's using the midpoint of the opening gap. London session opens and London session drops, sweeping these levels, right? Sweeping all of this liquidity that was laying at this level, right? As it swept that liquidity, it tapped back into our previous zone that we're looking at, right? So it tapped back at this level and then it started moving back up, going back into the opening gap. It shift structure at this level, right? So at this level, there was not much confirmation in here if you look at price, except for this fair value gap that showed displacement away, right, moving to the upside. There was this bearish movement over here, so it was unfair pricing. Price came back to rebalance it, but it really moved. So every candle in here was efficient except for these moves that happened from this point. Then price started moving efficient again, and it eventually ended up going above the opening gap again. So this level over here, we could have set a buy limit, right? When price traded back up into the opening gap, a buy limit at this level, and look to go take this high, and potentially want to go take our highs at this level, right? So as price moved on, and now we're in the New York session, we're in the New York session for Tuesday, right? So as price moved on for the New York session, these are all real-time markets. I don't do market replays, so I'll show you guys all real-time market plays. You see these markets are opened. It's now London session at this moment as we're speaking, and I'll show you guys some takes on today's London session, and probably we can find some draws in price that we could look for NFT this Friday. So yeah, as price played on for New York session, so you can see we traded out of our opening gap over the weekend, right? So New York opening opened over here and we moved up bullish, right? So we still failed to take this high, right? So at this level, it's telling me that there's still liquidity at that level, because now you can see we created this level, we created this level, and we still have our major level over here. So all these levels are just creating more liquidity for me, right? So at that point, I was looking, let's see, different stuff here. Right, so at that point, when price was up here, I waited for the liquidity peak. Right, you can see in this pricing as well, all of this was liquidity. Right, all of this level was liquidity, but my main focus was the New York Open low, because the early buyers that was in at this level, right, there were early buyers in, price moved off, and then price came to sweep them out. Right, when price swept these early buyers off, right, at this level, price tapped into our opening gap, and from the opening gap, it had this big rejection off, and price moved. So when it moved, right, what I was looking for is, you can see structure is moving like this. Right? So that was the low, the high, the low. Right. So I waited for price to trade above this level, because this level will tell me that now price has shifted or is giving me the willingness to want to shift. Right. So when we had this move up here, this candle, at this fair value gap was where I was looking to get in this market, and I got in these markets at this fair value gap. Right. So if you look at price, there's this fair value gap down here, but for price to come back down there, yes, it is possible, but at this case, I was taking this trade as a risk entry, right? Because price just wicked above the high, giving me a shift in structure. So at this fair value, I placed a position. I placed two contracts at this fair value actually, and then price ended up moving. Right, I was targeting this level over here because we swept liquidity. We had a shift in structure. Actually, after the shift in structure, any fair value gap that you see, you want to trade that fair value gap. Right, so I traded this fair value gap and I was looking to target this level over here. Right, this is where my order was full. I'll post my entries on the screen so you can see them as well. And I was looking to target this level up here, right? So as price moved, you can see they in these candles, right? In these candles over here, each of these candles tested each other, so they were efficient pricing, efficient pricing, until price delivered this push up here, right? So it left me a new fair value gap to monitor. So I was monitoring this fair value gap in this pricing, right? I was monitoring this fair value gap, right? So you can see as price traded back down into it, it was giving us bearish candle. So this candle tested in and closed back above. The next two candles closed back down, right? So when price showed me this displacement back above my zone, it left us a new fair value gap from this level to that level. This was where I took my next position at this level with my stops below this low or below this low to be safe, because we could have wicked out this low. So my stops were just below this low and below this low. So I was aggressively monitoring these stop losses on these trades, because we were still holding the previous trade. So we did not really want to blow the account, you see. So I took my next positions in here, with the stop loss just below these lows, and we targeting the high. So we targeting the buy side that we still haven't raided, right? And you can see price ends up moving off aggressively. So this level over here was my 1 hour fair value gap. So I was monitoring bigger draw in price, right? So I was monitoring a bigger draw in price. So you can see the fair value gap in price over here, and our entries are in this leg over here at New York's opening, right? So I was monitoring after these buy sides were taken, right? I was looking to trade into this fair value gap and probably want to go right this buy side liquidity as well, and then the major buy side liquidity. So we're monitoring these levels. Price has not yet traded into there. It traded into our fair value gap. So that was our points that we were looking at, right? So after this level over here, we targeted the fair value gap low, right? And then potentially from the fair value gap low, which is 7.5%, to the fair value gap high, and then we look to go right that level. So the fair value gap high, which is 11%, and then the full target for this trade is a 16%, almost 16.5% on this trade. Right, so you can see now price traded into that 1 hour fair value gap, right, and it was starting to range at this level. So this was around the PM session, right, around 2 p.m. US time to 3 p.m. So market close. So price just started ranging at these levels, right, moving sideways now at our fair value gap. So I let the trade run, and now it's the new day opening over here, which went into Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, I was initially looking for this fair value gap to use it as an inversion fair value gap, right? So we buy off this level and we trade to the major buy side liquidity, right? But you can see what price did, right? So at London session, we had these, actually London session pushed up to the buys, sweeping that level out, right? And these were liquidity. So price basically raided, um, so this was our liquidity draw in price, these lows over here and these highs over here. So basically price raided the highs, right? And then it started wanting to come down to trade the lows, right? Because that was the next liquidity draw. Where was the liquidity draw? Since price taken these levels over here, it was the level that's down here, right? So price will trade to and from liquidity. So when you see liquidity being taken, it's going to go to the opposite liquidity, right? So that's all we're monitoring. So you can see now at this level over here in price, right? So we know that price has liquidity at this fair value gap low, and this is the high, right? So at this level, New York's opening, right? So New York's opening over here in this pricing, right? New York's opening took these buy side levels out, right? So New York's opening took buy side and they were sell side at this level, right? And they were sell side at this point in price. So this was basically a trap. So buyers got in this market and price then did the opposite of that. So it was a manipulation and then the distribution. So you see after price pushed all the way up, which is New York's opening low, right? So we took buy side liquidity and we want to trade to the sell side because we just took buy side. So we want to trade to the opposite. At this level, price then broke the low, right? Broke the low, giving me a shift in structure. So we're looking for a fair value gap or an order block or any sort of it, right? So you can see these levels over here first present a fair value gap, right? So there is these fair value gaps up here with these liquidity stores in price. So now price has left um price has left this liquidity store over there. We have that liquidity and now this is basically just aligning with that. So this is liquidity that price is going to go and take in the future, right? But we were looking to target a fair value gap, which price has not presented a fair value gap if you look. So if price has not presented a fair value gap, I wouldn't recommend taking a trade. So you just want to wait and see how price reacts, right? Yes, it was a good move off. You can see that price used its bearish order block over here, right? Price used its bearish order block, right? So this is a 1 minute bearish order block. So price did test it. It tested a bit more than 50% of it or 50% of it, right? And then we traded to the sell side liquidity, right? Price then left double bottoms at this level, so it still wants to come back to take this level, right? You can see price then initially used this 1 minute bearish order block to move price lower, right? So that was our trade for Wednesday. It used this bearish order block. There was not an there was not a fair value gap. Sorry for that. There was not a fair value gap. So the trade wasn't really presenting itself that clear. So we were out of this one. We were just monitoring it and watching price. So price then swept the liquidity, right? And now we back onto our 1 hour time frame to look at where price could make that draw into, right? So those fair value gaps, if you look at price, there's no fair value gaps in this price. All these prices was tested. So the pricing was tested, which was got our entries, and we still looking to go right this buy side liquidity out, right? We were looking for this 1 hour bearish fair value gap to change its character and be an inversion fair value gap, which price failed at. So it traded through it back and it approached a bullish fair value gap on our 1 hour. Right, so now this is for today as I'm recording this video. This is on the 5th of June 2025. Right, on the 5th of June 2025. So basically, you can see that price range at the 1 hour fair value gap, the range. So there's still sell side liquidity at these lows, right? And now price has moved higher. So there's at this level over here in price, it's minor sell side liquidity, right? No. Minor buy side, not bad. So minor buy side, right? Right. So this is a minor buy side, and then we have buy side here as well. So this would be major buy side. So now we can move this level as well to this point in price, right? So this is major buy side. There's also major buy side as there, or it's internal buy side, and then this would be external buy side. So this is a minor buy side liquidity pool, which price traded to. So we want to see now if at this level we could potentially want to go sweep these lows, right? This is for today, or price could then trade up to the buy side liquidity, right? Because it use this 1 hour fair value gap and it's moving off. So I do want to see price peaking the sell side, or it could leave the sell side, take the buy side, and then trade back to the sell side. So I want to see which of these levels you're going to be taking, right? So now that we took this minor sell side, minor buy side, I'll be looking to see if price, what level is it? Okay, so this was that liquidity point which we taken and we're trading back up into it. So now we're back into the range, right? So I'd be monitoring this price to see if price is going to give me a shifting structure. A shifting structure would be around this level in price, right? So I want to see good displacement away from this level and then probably trade into a fair value gap, and that's where we could potentially look to then want to ride it down to take the sell side, right? But my major draws on this pricing is to trade up to these levels over here. So this minor level, because this is my major on the major outlook of the trade, right? So these are minor. It's a minor external swing. This is a major external swing, right? So I'm looking to trade up to these levels, and I want to see if price could give me a shift in structure. Then we could look to possibly want to ride down to these levels. Price is most definitely going to trade back to these levels, but I want to see price trade to the upside first, and then we could potentially look to trade it back down. So yeah, that's what we'll be looking for. It's Thursday today. Is there a news event? No, this is tomorrow for NFP. So about it for those trades that I've taken over the week for June, starting of June, for the 2nd of June for Monday. Right, so I took this position on Monday, took this position on Tuesday, and these are the two trades that we're holding right now. We're holding trades Wednesday and Thursday just started right now. So this is how you approach the market. You look for displacement, liquidity sweep. So it's liquidity sweep number one, then it's displacement number two, and then number three is a fair value gap. You trade your fair value gap, and you want to target liquidity. So you want to target minor liquidity as your first target to move your stop to take even, so you stay from the trade, and then you want to target your major liquidity. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this and what was your guys' takes on this. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so we can start doing some live streams with you guys. See you guys in the next one.